Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. Today, we are going to be diving into some of the latest news from Google Search, ChatGPT, LinkedIn, TikTok, WhatsApp, and YouTube.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot. So we're going to do our best to get through all of this and give you all the most important information. Let's kick things off with Google Search. They just dropped some news about their crawl budget. And for anyone out there with a larger website, this is something you're going to want to pay attention to.
Yeah, this is one of those things that can really impact your site's visibility and search results. You know how Google uses those bots to crawl through websites, scanning pages, and trying to figure out what they're about?
Right, like little digital explorers mapping out the internet.
Exactly. Well, the crawl budget is essentially how much time and resources Google gives those bots to explore your site.
So it's like a limited time buffet for Google's bots. They can only sample so many pages before they have to move on.
Exactly. And with this latest update, Google is really emphasizing link consistency between your mobile and desktop versions, especially if your site has over 10,000 pages.
Oh, wow. So for those big sites, it's even more crucial.
Absolutely. If Google's bots come across a page on your desktop site, but can't find the equivalent page on mobile because of different link structure, it's a problem. It's like they hit a dead end.
And that can affect your search ranking, right?
It definitely can. Google might think that page isn't as important if its bots can't easily access it on both mobile and desktop.
That makes a lot of sense considering how much we all use our phones to browse the web these days.
It's a clear sign that Google is prioritizing the mobile user experience.
So if you have a big website with over 10,000 pages, it's time to double check your links. Make sure your mobile and desktop versions are in sync.
It's a good idea for any website owner, really.
Now let's move on from Google Search to something that's been making waves in the AI world.
Oh yeah, ChatGPT. They just launched SearchGPT, which gives it real-time web search capabilities.
I was reading about that. It's a game changer, isn't it?
It is. Now, ChatGPT can pull information directly from the web. So if you ask it a question that requires up-to-date information like current events, stock prices, or even the weather, it can actually go out and find those answers for you.
It's like having a super-powered research assistant at your fingertips.
Right. And what's really interesting is that it cites its sources.
Oh, that's smart. So you can see exactly where it's getting its information from.
Exactly. It adds a layer of transparency, which is really important with AI.
Now, this puts ChatGPT in direct competition with Microsoft Copilot and Google Gemini, both of which have had real-time search for a while now.
But ChatGPT's approach is a bit different. It has these interactive maps that pop up when you ask location-based questions.
That's cool. So if you ask it, what are some good restaurants near me? It'll actually show you a map with pins for nearby restaurants.
That's the idea. It also has a dedicated sidebar that shows all the sources it used to answer your question, making it easy to verify the information.
I like that. It makes me feel more confident in the results, knowing that I can check the sources myself.
Now, Search Engine Journal actually did some testing with SearchGPT and found that it's great for breaking news and fact-checking.
So it can actually sift through information from the web in real time and figure out what's accurate.
Yeah, pretty impressive, right?
But they also pointed out that it sometimes struggles with content freshness, meaning it doesn't always pull the absolute latest information.
Right. And there's also a potential for bias towards official sources.
So it's important to be aware of those limitations and use SearchGPT critically.
Absolutely. It's a powerful tool, but like any tool, it needs to be used thoughtfully.
It'll be interesting to see how SearchGPT evolves over time.
I think this is just the beginning. We're going to see AI playing an even bigger role in how we access and consume information online.
All right, let's shift gears now from search to social media. LinkedIn's been making some interesting moves lately.
Yeah, their first ever work change snapshot report came out recently.
What's that all about?
It's a report that highlights some of the biggest changes happening in the professional world.
I'm guessing AI is one of those changes.
You guessed it. The report found that AI is one of the top changes that professionals are currently experiencing.
It seems like AI is everywhere these days.
It really does.
But on a lighter note, LinkedIn also announced that they're getting rid of most of those celebratory post templates.
You mean the ones with the cheesy graphics for work anniversaries and new jobs?
Exactly. I have to admit, I've used them a few times.
Yeah, me too. They're convenient. But it seems like LinkedIn is pushing for more original content now.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Especially video. I feel like every platform is trying to become the next YouTube.
It's all about capturing attention and keeping people engaged.
I wonder if this move away from templates has anything to do with AI.
That's an interesting thought. Could they be making room for some sort of AI-generated visuals or post backgrounds in the future?
It wouldn't surprise me. They're emphasizing AI a lot in their other updates.
It would be interesting to see how AI-generated content could be integrated into LinkedIn's professional settings.
Speaking of social media platforms facing challenges, let's talk about TikTok.
Oh boy. They're still trying to avoid a ban in the US and appease EU regulators who are concerned about data privacy.
It's a tough spot to be in.
It is, but they're not giving up without a fight.
They just hit a milestone with Project Clover in Europe.
Yeah, the first building of their Norwegian data center is up and running.
And they've started moving EU user data there.
Right. That's right. It's all part of their effort to assure European officials that their data is safe.
One of the key elements of Project Clover is something called pseudonymization, which is basically a way of masking EU user information when Chinese staff access it.
Right, so it's harder to identify individual users.
It's similar to what they tried to do in the US with Project Texas, but that didn't really work out too well.
No, it didn't. It's unclear if Project Clover will be enough to satisfy EU regulator.
And the US situation is still up in the air.
It's a reminder that the digital world is increasingly intertwined with global politics.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to something a bit lighter. WhatsApp just rolled out a new feature called Lists.
Oh, I saw that. It looks pretty handy.
It's a way to filter your chats into custom categories. So you can create a list for work one, for family one, for your book club, and so on.
It's like those old chat filters, but with more control.
Exactly.
Oh.
You can actually name and edit your lists,
Yeah.
which makes it much easier to stay organized.
I'm all about anything that helps me manage the chaos of my digital life.
And last but not least, YouTube's been busy with some AI-powered updates.
Yeah, they're rolling out AI-generated video summaries globally for English content now.
These summaries don't replace the creator's own description, though, right?
No, they're more like a quick preview for viewers, giving them a snapshot of what the video's about before they hit play.
It's like a mini trailer generated by AI.
Exactly. And YouTube Studio Mobile got a nice redesign too.
I heard about that. What's new?
Well, it's organized by content format now, so you can easily jump between your videos, shorts, live streams, and playlists.
That sounds more intuitive.
And they've added a list view option, simplified the way they show your monetization status, and added a filter for scheduled content.
Those are some nice quality of life improvements.
But that's not all. They're also testing out some super interesting AI-powered tools, like AI-powered comment reply suggestions for creators.
Wow. That could be a game changer for creators with large active communities.
Imagine being able to quickly sift through hundreds of comments and have AI suggest thoughtful replies.
That would free up so much time and energy.
And they're also testing an AI-powered support chatbot right in YouTube Studio on desktop.
So it's like having a virtual assistant who can answer your questions about the platform.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see how YouTube is using AI not just for content creation, but also for content management and community building.
It really seems like AI is the common thread running through all of these updates.
It's definitely a driving force in the tech world right now.
And it's only going to become more prevalent in the future.
It's both exciting and a little bit daunting to think about what's next.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've explored the latest in search, SEO, social media, and AI across multiple platforms.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. But we're just getting started. When we come back, we'll be exploring the implications of all of these updates for the creator economy and sharing our thoughts on what it all means for the creators and consumers navigating this rapidly changing digital landscape.
So stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We just spent some time exploring all those updates in tech and social media, and I think now is the perfect time to kind of connect the dots and see what it all means for the creator economy.
Yeah. It makes you wonder how creators can make the most of all these changes.
Right? It's a bit of a whirlwind out there.
Totally. So how do we navigate all this? With AI and search and the changes to social media platforms, what's the roadmap for creators?
Well, one thing that really stands out to me is that AI isn't about replacing creators, but rather empowering them.
Okay, I like that. But how does that actually play out in the real world? Give me an example.
Well, let's take those AI-generated video summaries on YouTube, for example.
Right.
They're not meant to take over for the creator's own descriptions and style. It's more like a little sneak peek for viewers to help them decide if they want to watch the whole thing.
It's like a super concise trailer made by AI to grab people's attention.
Exactly. And then you've got those AI-powered comment reply suggestions.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
For creators with massive communities, those could be a lifesaver.
Seriously. Just imagine how much time that could save.
Yeah.
Especially for those juggling multiple platforms and trying to connect with their audience everywhere.
Right. It frees up your time and energy to focus on the creative side of things.
But I gotta ask, isn't there a risk of losing that human touch with all this AI?
I think that's a valid concern. It's something we need to be aware of as AI becomes more and more ingrained in the creative process. But at the end of the day, AI is a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used in a good way or a bad way.
So it's all about how we choose to use it.
Yeah. Exactly. The most successful creators in this new era will be the ones who can find that balance, leveraging the power of AI while still staying true to themselves and building genuine connections with their audience.
It's like using AI to fine-tune your instrument, but still playing the music yourself. You're still the artist, bringing your unique style and emotion to the performance.
Now let's circle back to some of those social media updates we talked about earlier, particularly the situation with TikTok.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
It's a stark reminder of how much technology is intertwined with global politics and power struggles.
It's like a real-life thriller playing out in the digital world. With the potential ban in the US and the data privacy concerns in Europe, it's hard to know what the future holds.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Will we see a more fragmented internet, with different countries and regions creating their own separate digital spaces?
Or can we find a way to bridge those divides and maintain a global online community?
Those are some big questions.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know the answers.
Me neither. But one thing is certain. We're living in a time of incredible change and possibility. The pace of innovation is just mind-boggling.
It's exciting for sure, but it can also be a little overwhelming, wouldn't you say?
Totally. It's hard to keep up, let alone get ahead of the curve.
That's where the creator economy comes in, I think. Creators have this incredible opportunity to shape this new digital landscape.
I agree. They have a voice, a platform, and a direct connection with their audience.
It's about sharing their stories, their passions, their unique perspectives, and connecting with people who resonate with those things.
It's about building communities, sparking conversations, and making a difference through the power of content.
And that's what makes this whole journey so fascinating and rewarding. We're witnessing the birth of a new creative era.
And the possibilities really are endless.
As we wrap up this part of the deep dive, we'd like to leave you with one final question to think about. In this rapidly changing world, how can you, the creators and consumers, use these tools to your advantage? How can you stay true to yourselves while embracing new opportunities? And how can you help build a better online world for everyone?
We're back for the final part of our deep dive into the latest in tech, social media, and the creator economy.
Yeah, it's been a jam-packed journey, hasn't it?
Seriously, we've covered everything from Google's crawl budget to the rise of AI.
And the potential impact of all of this on the creator economy.
It's fascinating how all these different pieces fit together to kind of shape the bigger picture.
It's all connected, right?
Exactly. And speaking of connections, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the overarching themes we've uncovered. What are some of the key takeaways that really stand out to you?
Well, I think the biggest one is the sheer power of AI. It's driving so much innovation across the board.
Right. It's transforming everything from how we search for information to how we create content.
And how we manage our online communities.
It really feels like AI is the engine driving the digital age.
That's a great way to put it. And just like any powerful engine, AI needs to be handled with care.
Absolutely. We need to be mindful of the ethical implications and make sure it's being used for good.
Another theme that's top of mind for me is data privacy and security.
Yeah, that's a big one.
TikTok's situation is a prime example of the tension surrounding how our data is being collected, stored, and used.
It's a conversation that's only going to get more important as our lives become even more intertwined with the digital world.
We need to be aware of our digital footprint and demand more transparency from the companies we entrust with our data.
It's like we're all navigating this vast, uncharted digital ocean.
And trying to figure out the rules of the game.
Exactly. And that's where I think the creator economy has a really important role to play.
You know, creators have this unique ability to connect with their audience on a personal level.
They have a platform and a voice that can really make a difference.
They can help shape the conversation around data privacy and responsible AI use.
They can educate their audience and advocate for a more ethical and sustainable digital future.
And let's not forget the creativity and innovation that's flourishing in the creator economy.
Oh yeah, there's so much amazing stuff happening.
Yeah.
From AI-powered music tools to mind-blowing VR experiences.
It's an inspiring time to be a creator, that's for sure.
But it can also be a bit overwhelming to keep up with all the changes.
It's true. The pace of innovation is incredible.
That's why we do the deep dive, to help break down these complex topics and make them more accessible.
To give creators and consumers the insights they need to navigate this ever-evolving digital landscape.
So as we wrap up this episode, we want to leave you with a final thought. In this rapidly changing world, How can you use these new tools and trends to your advantage?
How can you embrace the power of AI while staying true to your own values and voice?
How can you protect your data and contribute to a more ethical and engaging online world for everyone?
We encourage you to explore these questions, share your insights, and keep creating amazing things.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of tech, social media, and the creator economy. Until next time, stay curious,